Welcome to the Do Everything with Love podcast. This is your boy David,
Amber,
Myron,
Steve.
And so we are glad to be here. This is episode 2 of this podcast, and hopefully you guys were able to check out the first episode, provide some feedback and comments on it. We're always working on making these better just for you. But with that being said, let's get into it. Yeah? So the purpose of this podcast is to really create a community around discussing relevant topics sourced from books read in our With Love book club. And so we are a community, learning, growing, and engage in dialogue around topics relevant to today's culture and through our book club. So as you guys know, love God, love people, do everything with love. Let's get this joint started.
All right. How has this past week been?
Not bad. Our weather is a little up and down around here. We've had some warm days and now it's snowing outside, but
it's weird.
But yeah, it's a little crazy, but other than that,
at least it's not sticking.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, we able to get together and do this. So
me personally, I don't like the snow, so.
Yeah, you take your personal trips to Jamaica.
Yeah. Oh, which I'm going by the end of the month.
Yeah,
yes,
that's
I'm
what's
actually
up.
going.
That's what's up. Yeah, Jamaica. Shout out to all the Jamaicans out there living their life. So, I'll go. So I mean, I've been doing well. Just been working hard on this music and getting our nonprofit stood up. Yeah, we just did a soft launch of our website. I ain't gonna give y'all the website URL just yet, but just know it's coming. It's under works now, and really excited about getting that launched. We're definitely working on doing something this summer, and can't wait to tell y'all more about it when it's ready. So with that being said, just know that a lot of people are going to be impacted in positive ways. Other than that, man, I'm doing good. Just working from home, living the work from home life. I got problems like my car battery dying because I ain't been driving enough. So I gotta figure that out.
First world pandemic problem.
But other than that, no, we're doing good. Wife and I are definitely spending more time we've ever spent before. Thanks to the pandemic, but it's all been good. It's all been love, and there's always something you learn new. It seems like every day, especially about your partner.
Your partners.
So it's that. But Waddy, what about you, brother?
Oh man, all is well. Nothing crazy new for me. Life is good. Just been working, Return to work efforts. That's about all that's popping in my world.
When do y'all return to work?
Well, I've been at work, but most of the people in the building return, let's say April 1st. And I increased my presence at work April 1st. So I'm on a 3 days a week in, 2 days telework schedule. And I go to 4 starting in April. Okay. I prefer the 3 to 2. I think that's like the best balance. So yeah, you still get to see people, still engage. You don't get stuck at home. Your car battery doesn't die. And you still get a bit of a break of having to travel in and out to work and rush hour traffic and that sort of thing. So.
Right.
And Amber, what about you? What's been up with you this past week?
Let love rise, like you said.
Let love rise.
We had our board meeting. Went very well. We're looking out for upcoming events that we'll have when we launch.
Yeah. Other
than that, just been going to the gym, finding the balance in life, new married life, enjoying my job.
Yeah.
That's just about it for me.
I just have a thing against CrossFit, I just feel
How did you know I did CrossFit? I didn't say anything about CrossFit. I just feel like,
I'm sorry, I just got he
just put me on blast about doing CrossFit.
I just got something against CrossFit. I feel like
I didn't even tell the people I do CrossFit.
They just out here breaking backs,
Okay, so another thing for this past week, my back is a little out of whack. However, it's all good. See, I didn't want to put anything negative into how I'm doing.
That's right, because you just positive vibes only. I get it.
But it's okay. My back is a little out of whack. I am okay. It's not because of CrossFit. It's more so just the nature of lifting weights sometimes.
At CrossFit.
At CrossFit. but the instructors are great, though.
Yeah. No, I mean...
And when I said that I was feeling a little wonky with my back, they told me to, hey, don't do these next sets, and they actually changed up the workout for me. You know,
that's what's up.
An alternate
That's what's
workout.
up.
Yeah,
So shout out to CrossFit.
Shout out to CrossFit.
Do it.
Yeah.
If you're not,
it's just
even pregnant women can do it. Honestly, I work out with people in their 60s.
It's scalable. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look at that. So, if you're interested in CrossFit.
Now we're promoting CrossFit.
If CrossFit is listening right now, just know we should talk. We can figure something out. We only get freebies once. You feel me?
Thank you for joining the Do Everything with Love podcast. You've been following along with us this month on our new book, Creativity Inc. by Ed Catmull. Now, if you want to continue to listen along, you can across all streaming platforms. But you can also go to patreon.com/withLoveMusic and see our exclusive video for this podcast. Now, also, we have exclusive music videos just for you on Patreon. So join with us and be a part.
So let's talk about this book, Creativity Inc. You guys see it, boom, bada bing, right there. But just to give y'all a quick recap of the book, right? We're going to be covering this book until the end of May, right? So if you get a chance to, read this book along with us, please do. We invite you to. And just know that we want to hear back from you. We want to hear about what topics you may be interested in. Let us know as soon as, in the comments below, or or DM us on Instagram or Facebook. Let us know what you want to hear about, what topics you want to hear about. There's a lot of great topics. We're going to cover one of them shortly here. But to recap the book real quick, so Creativity Inc. is by the Pixar president, who now also runs the Disney animation department as well, Ed Catmull. And essentially, he was one of the first people in the world to actually do a full-length animated feature film. And so he was able to, he was 20 years skin in the game developing this, which ultimately led to Toy Story, which, I don't know about y'all, but Toy Story was a big part of my childhood. I'm sure it was a big part of your childhood too.
Yeah.
And from there, they've just been hitting home runs, right? Just movie after movie after movie. I mean, I was just watching Wall-E the other day just cause, and I mean, it's just a brilliant movie where like the first hour, I don't think they really talk. They just... it's just pure just animation and
still engaging
and engaging you just with the story, without words, which is, to me, is phenomenal. It's amazing. So anyways, he talks about cultivating a creative environment in order to be able to pull out the most imaginative pieces that like he's done with these movies year after year. So he's given a lot of great tips and his experience, his stories, his testimony to the obstacles that they had to learn a lot from, the lessons learned, as well as just understanding what it takes to become consistently a creative machine, a creative beast, and doing that as a team. And so I think it's helped us, and I'm hoping that when we talk about this book more, that it would help you too, in whatever context that you're in, whether you are working on a team, on a project at work, or whether you're writing a song or collaborating with somebody, or running a business, right? I think these principles apply universally, and which is why we're doing this book club, because it's just been something that I've really enjoyed to even add to our creative processes and how we think, and just applying what we've been learning and processing that, and kind of going outside the box as far as what Netflix feeds me. So so it's good to actually crack open a book and get other perspectives, see into the minds of other authors, and we're gonna keep doing this, and we're gonna keep doing more books. But for right now, we're on Creativity Inc. And let's move on to the hot topic. So, hot topic for this episode is brain trust, right? If you don't know what a brain trust is, it is basically a feedback mechanism that's different from what you probably are typically used to in any work environment. Mm-hmm. The purpose of it is to push towards excellence, right? So it's a group of people that actually come together, and they provide unadulterated candid feedback about, you know, your project. And these people typically are consisted of experts in their field. And so basically, they're there to provide honest feedback. And essentially, you know, they're made up of people that have a deep understanding of, especially like in Pixar's environment, of storytelling, right? Because that's the name of the game, right? That's what makes or break a movie, is the storytelling. Yeah. So for them, they have a deep understanding of storytelling. They're not attached to your project directly. They're other, you know, they're in Pixar's environment. He talks about how there are other directors that are working on other projects as well, but they're coming together to kind of provide this outside perspective to your project. There's no authority in Brain Trust, so it's not like when you get feedback from your boss, it's like you must do what I just gave you feedback on, or, you know, reap the consequences. Yeah. It's more, they're just more like suggestions, you know, and it's really, they really give the director who's you know, seeking that feedback the freedom and the creative choice to whether to go through with those suggestions, you know. So that, I thought that was really cool. It creates kind of this really honest environment where you can be candid but also not feel judged, right? And not feel like you're pressured to go in any one direction. So I thought that was really cool. And they're intended to really to identify like the true causes of problems, right? I think anytime that, you know, you are running into issues on any project, whether it's a song, whether it's at work, whether it's even in a meeting, you'd be surprised how many people in the room think differently about whatever the problem is in the room, right? Like, you might think the problem is one thing, but if you talk to the same person in the same room and you ask them what the problem is, they'll give you a completely different answer, right? So it's very interesting to kind of get all those perspectives in one room and to really kind of hash out, you know, what is the consensus of whatever is going wrong in this project, and how can we actually creatively get to resolving this, right? And so I think it's just really cool to just kind of see when you remove the power dynamics of, you know, having no authorities there. It's really cool to see how people can really just be honest and get creative as far as how to resolve problems. And so, you know, at the end of it, they summarize it, right, with like things like how, you know, what did they blow up, right? What should they go back on, right? Go back to the drawing board on. What did they love about it? And what did they love about it now versus when, you know, they first started? So kind of these reflective questions to summarize what happened and to take that and go forward. And really, it's kind of one of those things that are like a gut check, you know, before moving forward into, you know, a much more, you know, pricier step forward, right? Which is production. A lot of times, especially in Pixar's environment, you know, this is when they're storyboarding, right? Yeah. And before their movies. This is before the expensive production process of, you know, going through the computer animation and the you know, going to the arts department and getting everything, you know, official for the movie. So I thought that was just really cool about what a brain trust is. So I guess my question to y'all is, you know, if you were to have a brain trust in your context, or whether it's in a band or not, what kind of people would y'all want to be in your brain trust?
Oh, I guess I can go first. That's a good question. I think ideally, well, actually even more than ideally, I think typically we tend to surround ourselves with people who think like us or agree with us. We easily find ourselves in echo chambers. But especially when it comes to a perspective of storytelling and stuff like that, you're looking for solutions to a problem that you can't specifically find yourself. So you would want to have people who may have a difference of opinion on you about things, people who may have a different way of wanting to tell a story or things like that. I think especially in your personal life, relating with people who don't live the exact same lifestyle you live, or, you know, have the same background you have, is something that can be a strength to you. So like, you know, just in my personal life, I would like to have people who view life in different ways, have a lot of different perspectives on life, because overall it's just going to help grow me into a better person. And like you said, the brain trust isn't, you know, a definitive, you know, you got to do this or that. It's, you know, you pull with it from it what you need and build with what you got there, and then, you know, take things that you maybe never seen coming and use it to round out to something that's ultimately going to be a bigger and better perspective for each and every person.
Right.
Yeah.
We got a guest appearance.
Guest appearance by our the resident dog Apollo.
You know, Myron, I think you bring up the topic of diversity, which I think is huge in a lot of companies right now. A lot of companies are diversifying their employees right now. I mean, I can tell you as an engineer, like a lot of companies right now are hiring black engineers. You know, I think they're trending right now only because of the fact that they, you know, the understanding right now, of course, you know, I think due to the, you know, the racial events that we've been having with George Floyd and all the other, you know, countless folks that have been shot, man. But at the end of the day, it's kind of created this need for diversification, for this education of having this understanding and really it being applied from a business model point of view to create better products, to get more creative about how to solve problems, to solve issues, to become innovative, and
build for everyone.
Yeah, and I think that's like huge right now. I think that's trending in a way that it's been missing, and I think honestly would solve tomorrow's problems. I think it's a great take. Iron. Anybody else? I mean, what do y'all think? What kind of people would y'all want, you know, in your brain trust?
Yeah, I was thinking. I mean, I'd imagine people you're in relationship with to some degree, because an element of trust needs to be there.
Yes.
So if you want people to speak freely and not be, I think, worried of offending somebody, that sort of thing, now naturally it should be respectful. But if you don't want that worry, that typically there's some sort of relationship there, you know, that we all are the same understanding, that we just working to get the best product. And so ideas are going to be free flowing. There's going to be passion involved, but it's not personal. Yeah. It's so that we're actually working together to get the best product that we can get.
I mean, I think we've all experienced, you know, being in an environment where you couldn't tell the truth. Right?
Oh
yeah.
You know what I mean? And how sucky that feels to be in an environment like that. So I think it's refreshing, I'm sure, for a lot of folks to be in an environment where they can say pretty much whatever they feel like they need to say without consequence, which I think is so important to have, especially in a creative environment. When we're talking about songwriting, I mean, you know, I think a lot of times when people write songs, people take those songs personally, because it's like their newborn baby that just came out, you know, and it's like, you know, you're flicking at it, you're saying, hey,
well, you got an ugly baby.
Yeah, you got an ugly baby. You know, I don't like the way that ear looks, you know, metaphorically speaking. But you know what I mean, like
in the animation, you didn't animate that ear right.
Right. Like it's just interesting, but like when you're in a safe environment where you're able to have that
free exchange of thought.
Free exchange of thought. It allows you to really be able to get to the end game, which is a dope song, which is that dope product. And I think that's something that, you know, allows you to grow in a way that you don't feel judged, right? In a way that you don't feel like you're being manipulated or pushed in any kind of way. It's just more so food for thought, you know, something to munch on. For me personally, I would say in a brain trust, you know, first of all, that experience has got to be there. You know, you got to have that experience, and whatever we talking about. You know, if we're talking about, like in our context, music, right? I mean, I'm seeking producers, right? The guys that know what they're doing. You know, I'm seeking songwriters that have written amazing songs. I'm seeking vocalists that have that ear for vocal arrangements. I'm seeking other musicians that have that ear for other instrument arrangements and things of that nature. So, like, you know, we got a brain trust for withLove, and you know, shout out to all y'all. You know who you are on the brain trust. But you know, I know that we've taken that from this book, right, and applied that to our creative process, and I think it's a great quality check. And that's something that we've always been wondering and inquiring about. Is like, how do we include a quality process behind like the music that we put out, because we really want to put out excellence at the end of the day. And honestly, I think that, you know, whenever we do that, especially, I feel like it saves us money a lot of times too, because I mean, I know there's a lot of artists out there that put money on a project that by the time they was done, they was like, this project is dumb or useless or it's just bad, you know. So if we can, you know, get to a place where, you know, you're able to avoid all that headache in the beginning, I think that's something that honestly, truth can go a long way.
Yeah.
So
I know there's been who was I reading? I was reading an article about some artist I can't remember, the 90s. It eludes me, but they came out with their sophomore album, and I think they admitted they made the album just in a
vacuum.
Yeah, and it didn't land well at all. And in retrospect, he was saying, I didn't really get any outside input. I just went with it all on my own.
Yeah.
No, that's real.
Get some other ears to listen to.
So lessons learned is don't create something in a vacuum.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah, that, and I also to Wadi and David's point a little while ago about being able to just speak your mind and talk to people that you trust. Think about Candor, and actually in the book Creativity Inc. talks a lot about Candor, which means being able to just say it how you mean,
raw and unfiltered.
Yeah. However, but of course with respect. So when you are selecting people in your brain trust that you actually know and you care about, whether to Myron's point, if it's people that have differing opinions of you, I think that you still need to have people that you know and you trust, and with differing opinions, as well as people who you respect who might have similar opinions. But at the end of the day, everybody goes away with having that sense of candor when they're talking through their ideas and when they're giving that constructive feedback. That can only take place if you are really taking the time to sort of be honest and true with what you're saying.
It's actually, I think, a reciprocal gift. Like, you give the gift of, hey, you can be candid with me.
Yes.
And the other person receives that, gives it back. It's like, okay, well then I'm going to be candid with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually quite reciprocal.
Yeah.
And actually, I think possibly a good strategy, if you are worried or afraid to speak your mind about something, is, hey, give a compliment first. Or if there's a part you do like, say, hey, I think you do this well, but these are the areas, I think you really need to work on, or something like that. I think that'd be an excellent strategy if you're looking for something.
I mean, hit it on the nail. I think it is called a brain trust meeting. Yeah. You gotta have that trust going into it. And that means that
excellent point. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you gotta trust that whatever that person is saying has good intentions for you.
Yes.
Right? That's set before the meeting. Those expectations are set. So I think that's important going into any meeting, is making sure that those rules of engagement are set, right?
Yeah.
Going into it, everybody understands what the intent here, what the end game is. So,
unless they don't believe you, like, oh, you just called it a brain trust. You hate my guts.
But I think it's cool though. I mean, because I feel like how many conflicts can be resolved. I feel like it's a great conflict resolution tool too, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you go into a conflict resolution meeting, so to speak, where it's just like there are people that are butting heads, but if you go into it saying, you know what, like, I'm just trying to solve whatever problem is here. I want to hear you out, but at the same time, I'm gonna give you my honest feedback. And at the end of the day, this is honestly how I feel, and this is just I mean nothing good. I mean nothing but good from this. Yeah. Right. I think when that trust is there from the get-go, it allows people to be frankly honest, and then allows them to be heard in a way that they're disarmed. Right. They're not geared up to ready to defend themselves, because there's no feeling of being attacked.
Yeah.
Or being put in a corner.
Well, it's also interesting because, like, even if the trust is already implied, because it's such a kind of unique concept. It still leaves a little space for people to kind of, especially for the first one, to kind of tiptoe around. Because I know when we first started using the brain trust, we sent off one of our songs to get some notes back on, and even like one of the replies was like, I like this, maybe you can change it, please don't get rid of me. Like, please don't kick me out of the brain trust. And it's like, we appreciate the feedback, and it's like over time as we continue with that, they'll feel like, okay, I can really just say how I feel and not feel like, y'all about to cut the relationship.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
You have to detach yourself from whatever you've created.
Yeah. And
so
especially as creative people, that's a very difficult thing to do. Because like, as David said, it's like, it's your baby, and you take it very personal. Yeah. Any criticism.
Come on, baby, ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You about to fight.
Did you make that? Oh, okay.
Second question, you get 2 today. Yeah. So second question is, what do you think are great characteristics of a brain trust meeting? I know we touched on it a bit. We touched on it a bit about frank talk and stuff, but what other characteristics other than being honest?
Yeah, so to answer that question, I think besides all of what we touched on previously, what's most important characteristic, or one of the most important, is time commitment. A, time to build trust, and B, time to actually have a brain trust discussion around whatever product or whatever entity, whatever that you're creating, right? In the band's case, be a song, right? So the time that you actually take to sit, you need to make sure you have commitment towards that, and having commitment towards continuously building with others around you that are
team
in
effort.
trust. A team effort, yeah. And I mean, relationships takes time, discussions take time. So that would be my key
potentially a couple rounds.
Iterations, yes. Iterations is a very big thing, and I imagine when it comes to songwriting,
yeah, some things work, some things don't.
Yeah.
So you gotta go back to it.
Yeah.
Get feedback, make some edits, send it out again, get some more feedback. And we're like, oh, that sounds good. We're like, well.
Yeah. By the way, since I am like the greatest vocalist that you guys probably ever heard, I don't know why I'm not in the brain trust for like withLove. I just feel some type of way about that. I just want to say that. That was just the FYI.
We can work
that
something
right.
out.
We'll table that.
We'll table that one. And then we'll bring it up to the brain trust.
We'll let the brain trust aside.
I'm just saying.
So, all right, cool. I also think that another thing too is just, I think it's important to laugh during a brain trust meeting, right? It's gotta be so serious. Like, it's like, oh man, I'm sweating bullets because I'm about to share with you my baby, and
that's a good point.
I'm scared what you're gonna tell me. Like,
May need to break the ice.
Yeah, you know, I feel like it's good to laugh. I think it's okay to have spirited debate, right? To have, I wouldn't like calling it arguing, but it's just more so like having that back and forth and being able to have a conversation between two different opinions.
I'm curious if it's psychologically kind of a reset. So say if it is getting intense or anything like that, if it is kind of a tool, even if you don't know, your brain is resetting and being like, okay, let's calm back down, because we all laughed. Laughter does elicit like a different chemical.
Oh yeah, I got coworkers that just be laughing when they nervous just cause.
Oh, well, that's another topic.
Yeah, that's a defense mechanism at that point.
Yeah.
They just be laughing, and I'm like, that wasn't funny, man.
Yeah, that's a different point. Yeah.
I mean, I never see laughs sometimes. It just depends on the situation.
But yeah.
So, and it's gotten taken the wrong way too. So.
Oh yeah, I've definitely
Yeah.
Ooh.
a whole other path, but yes, I definitely do that when it comes to talking.
So you do have to read the room a bit, or read topically what you're discussing.
Yeah.
Yes.
How heavy it is.
But to what you're saying though, I mean, like what you're saying, that breaks the ice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So okay, no, that's cool.
If it's supposed to be friendly, yeah, that's a good context of how to think about it. If it's supposed to be friendly, yeah, you can use some laughter.
Yeah. So and I think, like I said, I think that there needs to be spirited debate, right? Where you're at, it's where opinions can be shared. It's okay to disagree, right? Like it's an environment where you can disagree. That's okay to have different,
but in a healthy way.
I feel like on social media it's hard to have a different opinion than everybody else.
Oh yeah.
But
But
at the end of the day, I feel like in an environment like this, right, it's okay to have disagreements. And again, remember, there's no authority saying that you got to go any certain direction. Mm-hmm. You take from it what you may, right?
Yep.
So, and ultimately that's at the director's choice. So I just think that that's something that is just important to keep in mind of, especially in an environment like a brain trust.
Thank you for joining the Do Everything with Love podcast. If you'd like to continue to take the journey with us, please hit us up at withLove across all streaming platforms. Our music is everywhere, all right? And if you want a physical copy, hit us up at bandcamp.com, and you might even score yourself a signed copy of our album. Thanks.
So, Wadi, you got some announcements for us?
Yes, sir. So to reiterate, I think Amber touched on it a little earlier. Coming in June of this year, Let Love Rise launch via Love Sessions are coming back.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. And actually, before that, our next Patreon drop of a live performance will hit Patreon in May 1st.
I'll be doing the vocals this time.
Yes, maybe.
Experience.
We'll dump her in.
Yeah. For next time, if you have any questions or if you want any comments or anything, we'll put up a poll in our Patreon, and we'd love to hear from you, and we can possibly touch on some of that stuff next time.
Yeah. Because this book's got a lot of great content, and can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about it and what we can talk about.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. But with that being said, I think that about wraps it up. I appreciate everyone listening in and tuning in to the Do Everything with Love podcast, episode 2. And stay tuned for the next one coming up next month. So appreciate y'all, and until next time.
Until next time.
Love God, love people, and do everything.
Do
With
everything
love.
with
With
love. We should have said that all in sync.